This is Nick.
This is Corey.
Larry.
That's Larry.
Larry's back. Larry, where you been? Oh, so he's been at a funeral. It's for his
Oh, his cousin.
Oh, Frank. This is Frank. Larry's cousin.
Thanks for helping us out, Frank.
His head's missing.
It's all right.
It'll show up later.
We don't have to worry about that.
Frank. So, and today we're finally introducing the '92 Sportster.
More specifically, it's an XL 883 with a 1250 NRHS big bore kit for anybody that knows Harleys.
And so today we'll be swapping out some of the stock parts as well as adding some others.
We'll be swapping out the stock bars and the stock grips. The bars will be using Biltwell Keystones, and the grips will be using some Avon Custom Contours. The tools we'll be using for that are going to be a 1/4, 5/32, and a 1/8 inch standard Allen wrench. And we'll also be using two 10mm open end wrenches, along with some Gorilla Glue and some blue thread locker.
We'll get started and show you the after. Let's do it.
Good stuff. Alright guys, so first things first, you always want to cover the tank before you start a project like this. It prevents scratches, dings, all that fun stuff. Typically you'll want something heavier because sometimes the bars can fall back, but this should be fine. We'll start with the 5/32 to release the mirror and the clutch clamp. Typically you can just unscrew these and take it off in one fell swoop. Just because there is a washer on these that you can lose, and we don't want to do that. Next you'll want to hang this. Typically clutch cable is pretty sturdy, you can kind of let it hang. And then you can see here there's a 1/8 screw in the front here. And it's going to be hard to see, but there's one directly on the back right here as well. And that'll release your electrical. Pull that out and you can let that hang as well. And we can start the other side. So now we'll switch to the front master cylinder, brake master cylinder on the throttle side. We'll do the same over here that we did on the clutch side. We'll hang that. Swap out to the throttle housing. Now sometimes with these you can get lucky and slide the entire thing off, and I think that's what's going to happen here. I just loosen this and I'm just going to give it a pull right off the bars with a little bit of fight, but that's alright. You can let that hang just like that, and then we'll start by taking the bars off. Alright, so we've removed the clutch and the throttle side grips and controls, and we're going to start by taking the speedometer and the bar clamp off. Be a little tricky at times. And notice the bars are falling and kind of holding them with my hip, because otherwise they'll just go. And then up here you got to be careful with the setup I have. If you have something similar, I have washers on the top bolts, or the top portion anyways. And then there's also spacers on my bar clamp. Right there. So we'll push this out of the way, pull the old bars off, and grab the Biltwells. Alright guys, so as you can see we got the old handlebars off, everything's set aside right here on the top of the bike. We're going to move over to the bench and we'll show you the Biltwell Keystones along with the Avon grips that we were talking about. We're going to install these, but first Avon does instruct you to make a cut on the throttle side grip on 95 and older motorcycles, the Harleys anyways. So we'll go through, show you cutting that, glue it up, put the bars on, and go from there. Alright guys, so we failed to mention that you're going to need a hacksaw or some kind of cutting tool to cut this plastic away from the metal grip. So we did already start cutting it and realized we failed. We failed you. So there's that. We'll obviously want to clean it up a little bit. Alright, so we're going to apply a little bit of the Gorilla Glue made from fresh squeezed gorillas to the handlebars. Do it in moderation. Obviously wipe your hand out before you decide to grab your grip. And you want to push because there is a cap at the bottom of that. And that sets it on there nice and firm. Clean up any extra glue you have there. And like I said, we're going to let this sit for a little bit. And then we'll finish the installation. So we're going to grab our handlebars and start throwing those back on right here. Still don't really want to grab the grip itself, just because, like I said, they do technically have a 24-hour cure time, so I really don't want to jostle that around at all. At least get this started on there, keep it somewhat tight. And then you'll want to get on the bike and position the bars to where they're going to be most comfortable for you. For me, rather. You can do it towards the end.
Cough again? And that's why you always keep the tank covered.
You can add that in there if you want. That sucks. It really does, especially because that's pointed. So I guess we'll find out if there's a dent in there when I'm done. But I do have that folded a few times. So you want to snug this up a little bit so it's not obviously going to do that again. And then you'll go through, like I said, you want to adjust the bars, pull them back, push them forward wherever you're going to be comfortable with the reach on there. And then to tighten these bolts up, you want to do a crisscross pattern on them, just to make sure the bolts are all tightened. Alright guys, we're going to throw the clutch side on. We'll start with the electrical assembly right here. And you want to make sure that you line up the wire because there is a dimple on the bottom of these bars for that wire to set in. And then we'll start by, I already blue Loctited this bolt here. And we'll be doing that with the rest of them as well, just because this bar is going to cause a lot more, it's going to feel a lot of the vibration a lot more than the buckhorns did, the old bars. And with all these, you're going to want to do a crossing pattern anyways. Just because you don't want to tighten one side and then not tighten the other. So you want to snug them all up. Obviously you don't want to do it so hard that you strip them. But you're going to want it to all stay tight in there. That part looks good. Throw the clutch cable on. Now the clutch cable going from the bars that I had onto these is going to need some adjustment. But we'll work on that later. I want to make sure that these are lined up all right. And once again, that line is going to come underneath that dimple on the bar, and you're going to be able to tuck that right into these as well. make sure that you don't pinch it in there, because if you pinch it between where you're screwing these together, you're gonna end up cutting a line. Now we'll move on to the throttle side. So with this side, you are going to want to take the bolts out that we had in there before, because we're not going to be reusing this grip. So what you'll want to do is break free these nuts on the throttle cables. So with the 92, it's got to push and pull throttle setup. So you're going to want to just like that, break those free, give yourself some slack in there. Same with this one. And these, you'll want to make sure that you do adjust these before you go riding anywhere, just because you don't want too much slack in the throttle. So you can see that eased up. All of these. You want to be very careful, because these will just pop right off and you'll lose them. And then you'll probably have to call Harley. So those pop out of there just like that. If you give them enough slack, you'll know if you haven't, because you'll have to fight with them. And that's not fun either. So there's your old grip. I probably could have just kept these on there, but I like taking them off so I have an eye on them. So we'll take our new throttle grip, install that side first. And there you go. And with these ones, you can slide everything right back on. You want to keep this line that's on here towards the back. And once again, tuck those in there with the dimple. Once again, this goes back to the crossing between the bolts, just to make sure that everything's tightened up properly, because you can pinch something in there or it won't line up properly. You'll just have to take it apart again later. You always want to make sure that you do these steps, the control steps first, before you put on this right here, the master cylinder on this side, or even just the clutch lever on that side. Thank you. And like I said, with these ones, it's easier to keep these bolts together with this piece, just because you can see that washer right there. It's easy to lose. So I just try to take them off all in one piece. This way you don't have to worry about losing that one later. And also with this one, there's a part on the back for the brake release that's part of this control. It's a safety release. You're going to want to make sure that this lines up with that. Obviously it won't go on right if you don't. So I'm not having that issue. Alright, there's that. And then you just gotta adjust your throttle cable. I think that's actually right about where I want it. Alright guys, we hope you enjoyed the video on the upgrades we did to the 92 Sportster today.
As always, remember to comment, and subscribe.
And make sure you check out our Facebook and Instagram for updates there.
As always, this is Nick.
This is Corey.
Reporting from Mancard HQ. Let's go take a ride.
I like that idea.
We'll see you next time.
Yes, we will. You're a jerk.
I try.
You're a jerk.
Hey. You're welcome.
Thanks, man.
Alright, let's do it.
Alright, so guys, this is our first time doing some helmet cam. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Nick's just getting back from his ride, and we'll see how everything went. Definitely let us know in the comments below if you want to see more stuff like this, and see how everything went. So how'd it go? Nice and smooth?
Yeah, it did go nice and smooth. It was nice.
Very cool. So, yeah, guys, again, let us know in the comments below if you want to see more stuff like this. You'll definitely be seeing it in the future. And
wait, that's not my thing. Make sure you check us out on Facebook and Instagram for shenanigans and such.
So, guys, let us know what you think. As always, Mancard channel, not from Mancard HQ.
Absolutely not.
We're signing off. See you later.